Hello Leo, this is a timeless reading for you and I'm using my own cards, my medieval oracle deck. And in the past few weeks, I'm not sure when I started to upload these tarot readings, it's not so long, probably not longer than 2 months ago I started, so there are not that many readings, but most of your readings in the past few weeks were some kind of romantic, and this is the first one that is not romantic. I'm not, so obsessed with romantic readings. I know it's a part of our lives, but I think that often in many tarot readings it's just too much about this stuff, and I as a viewer often became a little bit annoyed with so much romance stuff in tarot readings. So in my readings it doesn't come up too much, but it comes up now and then, and mostly for your sign it came up. Leo always had the romantic readings. I don't know why. This time you don't. In the midst of your spread you have the Jester, and he comes up often, mostly in a good way, but the past few times for the other signs, he also had some kind of negative taste to him. And in your reading, he does have both aspects, positive and negative. I'm gonna get into it soon. The Jester's being surrounded by the thief, the frog, the sword, and the mirror. And there is something very... Also, there are two aspects. On one hand, this is very psychological. There is a very psychological realization about yourself. But yet, there is also a very spiritual self-realization. There's something very physical and something very spiritual. The Jester is representing yourself. I'm gonna start with a negative aspect first. Now don't get mad at me. The negative aspect of you right here is there is something in your life that maybe you were a little bit irresponsible about. There is something about you that was not properly serious about something. There is some kind of tiny blind spot in you that you will face. But I hope you didn't get mad at me right now. The positive aspect of the Jester is he is very mature. If he comes up in a positive way, he is not some silly clown with some cheap humor. The Jester in the Middle Ages was very close to the king. He was very educated. He even played a political role. His comedy, his humor was... What is the English word? The German word is satirisch. Or the noun would be Satire. So maybe in English it's... Oh my god, I hope I'm not making a fool of myself. Satire, I don't know, that's probably the wrong word. Like, when people or comedians, they pick up political issues and there is some kind of seriousness, there is something profound about their humor. There is a certain sarcasm to serious topics, but they make a comedy show out of it. It's not some dumb kind of humor. And this is what the Jester is actually about if he comes up in a good way. And he does come up, as I said in the beginning, in a good way in your reading. And these are your qualities. I'm seeing this person right now, you, the viewer, as someone who is mature and intelligent. And usually very self-aware, someone who is reflective, someone who is responsible. Yet, as I said earlier, in a negative way, there is something that you were a little bit like a silly clown about. But this is not you as a main person. You are mainly the good kind of jester. There is only one tiny part in your mind or in your life that is still missing, that you still have to integrate. And it could even be that, you have established a lot in your life, inwardly and externally. You have come far in your psychological, emotional development, very far. But there was always this one topic or this one thing inside of you that still felt like a little bit like a helpless child. And you might have even been aware of this for several years, and you maybe tried to fix or heal it, but it didn't work somehow. Sometimes we even go to therapy because of certain things, and somehow it doesn't help. And for others of you, I'm getting that maybe you were not aware of it, but you will now become aware of it. Like, you have already done all the inner work. But there was something that you were overlooking. And there is this huge transformation. It could even be that this made you suffer so much that you didn't understand this one thing in your mind or this one thing in your emotions. You just couldn't solve it. And it repeated itself over years or decades, depending on how old you are. And you thought, let's say you are 50 years old and you had good things in life. You also had very negative things in life. You experienced the whole spectrum. You have established something. You are mature. But, when it comes to a certain person, a certain activity in life, or just a certain topic, like romance or something, you felt like no matter how hard you tried, you will, and no matter how stable you became and mature you became inwardly, you always felt, when it comes to this certain thing or a certain person, pulled back into some kind of inner woundedness. And this will be something that you will soon be facing, but don't worry, when we face it, we have the chance to heal it finally. There is a huge transformation regarding this coming in with the frog. The frog also, sometimes I see him as speed, explosiveness, something that is sudden. Because they can appear to be frozen on a leaf, but they can suddenly make a huge jump. We have the sword here, and usually I see it as the Excalibur sword, like destiny, individuality, something that is just tailored for you. But in your reading, somehow I see it as timing. I don't know why. I'm just getting this whole thing about timing. And even if sometimes if we are willing, even praying to solve a certain issue, to see through a certain blind spot that we're having, it just doesn't work, and we don't understand why, because we are mature and we are willing. But this time is coming. This is strongly about timing, this reading. How do you say that in English? Like hitting the head of the nail, in the right spot, with the right pressure. It's just like on time, and it's just, the perfect moment right now. As the outcome and realization, we have the mirror, and it's self-explanatory. What I was already talking about there is something about self-reflection. Whatever it was that you wanted to know about yourself or that you wanted to understand about yourself, this time is coming. In the unconscious position, we have the thief. And the thief, for some of you, this could be someone leaving your life as soon as you have this realization, even without you actively making them leave, even without speaking about it. I have made this experience as well, that sometimes when spiritually, energetically, something deeply shifts within us, some people just withdraw without a word. There was no fight. Like really not even the slightest passive aggression between the two of you. They just go. Because something energetically shifted within you very, very deeply, very profound. This is one case for some of you. Another case is you deciding to leave. For others, there is something verbal. There is no war, there is no beef. It could even be you. Actually, that's what I was getting in the beginning when I was pulling the cards. For some of you, this could be you speaking to someone about your spirituality. Maybe you had a very profound spiritual awakening. Maybe you even, died. Some people have near-death experiences, and as soon as they tell someone, people run away. Many people can't handle spirituality. And as soon as they feel that in someone, see that in someone, hear that from someone, they go off without a word. But I feel like you won't be bothered with it. Oh, I'm also getting, for just a few of you, this could have been something that you were struggling with for years or decades. Not in the sense that I was saying earlier that it's some kind of blind spot about yourself, but maybe you were ashamed of your spirituality because anytime you mentioned it, people left you. And then you felt ashamed, depressed, and immature about yourself, even though you're not. Oh my God, sorry, the video quality looks so bad right now. It's getting a little bit dark outside, like not dark because of the evening, but the clouds are really coming out. It's very gray right now. Sorry for the interruption. I think this could be true for many of you. This is actually the core of the whole reading. And ironically, that you had a lot of profound spiritual experiences and inner spiritual evolution, development, but ironically, the horrible pain inside of you that just kept on repeating for a long time and pulled you back into some, I don't want to say it's childish because it sounds so negative, but I don't know which word to use. So pulled you back into some childish behavior, like not behavior towards others, but towards yourself. Like this feeling ashamed about whatever kind of spiritual experiences you had. And this then made you think that you are spiritually immature because you deeply get pushed into this pain. And maybe sometimes then you even spoke and acted inauthentically towards other people because you didn't want to open up about whatever spirituality that is, because you made this experience that it is not being well received by others. Let me look into the bottom of the... There's a lot of feminine... Oh, very beautiful. Yeah, I think I shouldn't be focusing on the bottom of the deck cards too much. I just want to mention it very briefly with the fairy, the moon, the mermaid, and the rose and the healer. There's something very gentle and beautiful that's coming into your life. Could be a literal person. Maybe you are meeting someone who's very spiritual, very intuitive, very tolerant towards you, very accepting. Could be a romantic situation, doesn't have to be. It could be a quality that you're discovering within yourself, even if you're a man. It could be something that you're longing for very strongly within yourself. It could be something that you're learning after this huge self-realization, this last thing that you wanted to know about yourself. That you become very motherly, very feminine and gentle towards yourself. Very forgiving towards yourself, even though you know you don't really have anything to forgive because you didn't do anything wrong. You just felt you were doing something wrong because people would just withdraw whenever this topic came up. So Leo, I'm just gonna leave it here. Thank you for watching.